Well, hello, I am at the Hancock Trailhead and I am here to do a winter overnight. I am having a late start, so I'm basically just going to be hiking in a couple miles, setting up camp, and then I will probably summit the peaks tomorrow. Let's get going. So apologies in advance if my camera is a little shaky. I am not filming on my GoPro. The primary reason is I forgot to bring a micro SD card to actually record video onto. So I'm gonna make do with my phone for this trip, and I am wearing snowshoes for this trip. Even though I had read that that the trail is pretty packed down right now. Since I'm camping, I'm going to be going off trail to set up camp, and I don't want to sink down to my waist in snow while trying to set up camp and finding a spot. This is going to be my first solo winter-ish backpacking trip. I have been backpacking by myself before, and I've been backpacking in winter before, but never those two combined, so this should be interesting. I made sure to make a pack list for this trip, and I checked everything off as I went to make sure I didn't forget anything, because wintertime, it's especially important that you mind your P's and Q's and bring everything that you'll need. Today's a Saturday, and I did see a few cars in the parking lot, and I already ran into 4 hikers coming the other way. So definitely is a trail that gets quite a bit of traffic, but I don't think anyone else is going to be starting out this late, and I should probably have the mountain to myself tonight. Got some nice snow bridge across the water here, although that was a little precarious, but alright, that wasn't too bad. There's obviously still quite a bit of snow up here. Down in southern New Hampshire, there's just none. It's very much spring down there, and here, in a lot of ways, it's still very much winter. Although it's not very cold right now, it's about 40 degrees. It's supposed to get down to 20 tonight, so that's not too bad. It's pretty manageable, especially for my gear setup. The trail so far has been really flat. It's been very manageable. I'm making pretty good time right now. It's only 4 o'clock, and I would guess I've probably been hiking for about 1.5 miles or so. We'll see how far I get before I decide to set up camp, but for now I'm feeling pretty good. That was the first water crossing that did not have a snow bridge. I had to weigh whether I wanted to risk damaging my crampons on my snowshoes or getting my feet wet, and I chose to walk on the rocks. It's just too early in the day to get my feet wet right now. And we got another one to do. Alright, about 1.8 miles in, and we're now making a turn toward Hancocks. This is a really pretty walk, just how open it is with the trees and flat, sun shining through. Very pleasant. All right, we got our next junction here. Um, so yeah, that's all there is to the peaks, but I'm thinking I'm gonna end up setting camp before that, because it's getting a little late. It's almost 5 o'clock now, and I kind of want to set up camp, make dinner, and relax before it gets dark. And that way, I'll be starting off fresh tomorrow morning, and I can hit the peaks and then hike out, which would be even easier than hiking in. Well, this looks like a good place as any to set up my hammock. Got the sound of the water going, and hiked about 3 miles. It's a little after 5 o'clock, so got plenty of daylight left, but I'm hungry and I'm ready for some dinner. So I'm gonna set up my hammock and cook something up. All right, my hammock is all set up. I've got my war bonnet winter sock over my war bonnet hammock, and I've got my 10-degree quilt on top, and then I have the war bonnet 0-degree Wookiee underquilt. So that should keep me plenty warm tonight. But now it's time to make some dinner. I'm gonna be trying out this Good To Go pasta marinara for the first time. It's actually gluten-free and vegan. I'm not vegan, although I do try to eat gluten-free as much as I can. So I'm excited to try this. This is a local brand made right in Kittery, Maine. Well, this has been a good kind of shakedown for my camera equipment because I have somehow broke my tripod. This piece, it's just not threading right with the part that my phone goes into. So I'm probably in the market for a new tripod anyway. But yeah, between not being able to bring my GoPro and that annoying, I'm just gonna have to hold it, I guess. So I put the boiling water in. I waited 12 minutes and it seems rehydrated now, although it's very soupy. So it did say to put a little over a cup in, and I did that. I think I probably put like 10 ounces in. So I'd probably recommend closer to a cup. But the flavor's pretty good. I think I'm gonna put a little, I brought this separate, this didn't come with it, but I'll put some grated Parmesan in there. Maybe that'll help add a little flavor. With the addition of the Parmesan, and I also added a few more crushed red pepper flakes, it is very good. The flavor of it kind of reminds me of those ragu microwavable pastas that they used to sell. I don't know if anyone else would have remembered it, but it's got kind of a nostalgic taste to me. I would definitely buy this one again. I think this is the first dehydrated meal that I've actually just inhaled. This was so good. I'm really looking forward to trying the other ones that I bought from Good To Go. It's almost 7 o'clock. I finished eating, hung my food, and I am going to get in my hammock now and watch some videos I downloaded before I go to sleep, as we are rapidly losing daylight and I'm getting a little cold. Just an update on the sealskins. My boots did get a little wet on the inside, I think just from all the snow.
The seal skins, they don't feel wet, but my feet were getting a little cold while I was sitting at camp, and I think it's just because the cold was soaking into these. They're not very well insulated. So I am going to change into my heated socks and get those into my down booties and warm up these feet because they are cold, but they should be wearable tomorrow. So definitely a positive upgrade. All right, so I've got my Darn Toughs, my heated socks, and my Dutch wear up booties on, so my feet should start warming up pretty soon. I don't know if I've ever really properly reviewed these heated socks, but I got these on Amazon. I don't remember the brand now, but they have these little rechargeable battery pack things, and it heats the sock. And usually, like if I have it on low or medium, it's enough to last one night, which is usually sufficient because that's usually I only go out for one night in the winter anyway. But I really like them. They keep my feet warm, and yeah, it was a good purchase. When I got to camp, the temperature on here was reading 32. I don't know why it says -2 right there, but it was 32, and now inside the sock and my hammock, it is up to 38 in here. So it really does not feel bad in here at all. But I'm now tucked into my 10-degree quilt, and I'm feeling pretty nice and toasty warm. Good morning. It's about 7:15 in the morning. I slept pretty good. I had a little bit of trouble getting to sleep, but then once I was asleep, I stayed asleep and probably got a good 8 hours. My thermometer says that it's 28 in here, but that means it's probably colder outside of the hammock. But I stayed nice and warm. At one point before I fell asleep, I was actually too warm. I had to turn off my heated socks and take off my fleece hoodie, but after that, it was fine. I'm just waking up right now and trying to work up the courage to get dressed and go outside so I can make breakfast. I did have some condensation in here. It's kind of starting to drip on my face. But that's why I usually only go out for one night in the winter. I know there's probably a way to combat that, but I don't know it right now. I think a lot has to do with the winter sock. If I didn't have that on, I don't think I'd have this condensation. Okay, thermometer actually says it's 21 outside. And I've got my alcohol stove boiling some water. I'm gonna make some chai tea mix with some breakfast essentials in it, because that is a really good combination. And get some calories. I'm gonna pack up some of my stuff, but I'm gonna leave my shelter here to save some weight. So I'll just grab it on the way down. It's just after 8 o'clock, and the first group of day hikers has already started up the mountain, so they get started pretty early. Alright, I'm setting out. I think it's like 8:30, maybe 8:45 right now. I've got like a 1.5 miles, I think, to this first summit, and probably about 6 to 7 miles left on the day. Oh wow, so we're here already. So we're at the beginning of the loop. So to the left is going up to the North Peak. That's where we're gonna go.
and then to the right is the South Peak. So it's gonna loop around. So we're gonna go up left, and then there's gonna be a route to connect to south, and then we're gonna come back this way. So from what I've heard, the way up north is steeper, so it's better to go up it. So it's a little bit more dangerous going down a steep thing, especially if it's gonna be slippery. Just came down there. I really wasn't expecting to go down this much, but I guess you had to go down and then go back up. I'm pretty glad that I camped where I did last night. I was almost thinking that it might be better to camp somewhere closer to the loop. And I guess over there would have been some nice spots, but you're kind of like in the open and you don't have the river like I had last night. So I'm pretty happy with my choice. All right, on with the climb. Heel raises are going back up. So, tip, in the wintertime, store your water bottle upside down because it's less likely to freeze in the important part, so you could still drink out of it. I woke up and this bottle was pretty frozen, but I just tipped it upside down and there was still water in there, so I was able to get water out, so crisis averted. Of course, it always looks less steep on camera, but starting to get some peekaboo views through the trees. And I'm hoping snow's gonna be high enough up there. We'll get some views. This is really steep here. Can you tell? I don't even know. You could tell people had some fun butt sliding down this mountain too. But it's pretty steep and slippery, so you really gotta dig the crampon in so you don't fall. I think I'm getting pretty close though. Check out this view behind me. I can hear some people somewhere behind me. I couldn't tell if they were coming up this trail or maybe I was hearing them going down the other trail. But I'm scooting up the mountain now. Probably have about maybe 1/10 of a mile left to go to the summit. I'm not quite at the top yet, but already getting some nice views over the trees. Right in front, those two peaks in the middle there are the Osceolas. Very pretty. Oh, not much longer to go. Wow. Look at all these dead trees up here. It definitely creates more of a view. This is so pretty. It's definitely leveled off a lot too, the closer I got to the top. Okay, so we got some new things here. So this one is Passaconaway. I hiked that with Brian. And then these are the Tri-Pyramids. So hoping to do an overnight and hit those. Hopefully with Brian. Ooh, I think we made it. South Peak is to the right. Got a little outlook, okay. Oh, very nice. Almost 360. Ooh. Okay, so I think what we're looking at over there is Franconia Ridge. There's still snow up there. Looks gorgeous though. And over here's the Osceolas again. Oh, and that other snow-peaked one, I believe, is Moosilauke. Don't pronounce the E. Just got some photos of this fella. Probably the only bird I've had good luck of getting a close-up shot of. Because they just don't really fear humans. Because so many people feed them. It's really pretty up here. There's hardly any wind either. And it feels warmer. My thermometer seems to be going a little haywire and it says it's 60 degrees, but that's not true. But it is a little warmer. It's probably in the 30s by now, I would assume. But I'm about to head over to South Hancock now. And I notice I have service up here, which is pretty cool because I don't have to rely on satellite. And I didn't talk about my new satellite device, but I'll show you. So I have a Zoleo now, and so I got one because I was gonna start doing some of these hikes by myself in the winter, and I wanted a way to, you know, be able to stay in touch in case I needed to, or if I got insanely lonely and needed to talk to somebody. I've been really happy with it so far. Seems the messaging app is pretty smooth and flawless. It actually it tries to send messages via Wi-Fi or cellular data before it tries satellite, so it saves you a little bit of money because you have to pay for, you can get a plan to get a certain number of satellite messages. Started with the basic to try it out, but yeah, so far so good. It's been really nice. I'll have to do a separate video to do an actual review of it. Check that out. It's Mount Washington through the trees there. Pretty cool. Right, this is the summit of South Hancock. Not as clear of a view, but you can see some stuff through the trees. It's a really nice trail on the way here. Pretty gradual. Really nice day. Actually getting a nicer view on the way down from South Hancock than on the top of it. Gonna be a little steep for a little bit. I changed into my Hill Sounds micro spikes. Snowshoes were a bit much going down this. They're pretty cumbersome. I seem to have lost my water bottle. It fell out of my bag while I was putting my snowshoes in my bag, and it rolled down and it just kept going. So hopefully I'll find it on the way down. Oh my god, yes. It's there. So happy. Awesome, we made it back to the loop branch. So now it's, I think, a half mile back down to where camp is. So then I'll stop by there, pack up my stuff, and finish off this hike. Alright, I have made it back to camp. I guess you could see this from the trail if you were looking for it. Alright, I've got my stuff packed up, and I don't know if this is going to hold, but I'm going to try it. Because I'd much rather hike back in my spikes than my snowshoes.
All right, it's 12:30, so that section from where I was camped up around the loop and back took about 4 hours. And I'm just hiking the last 3 miles back to the car. This is working out, but it makes my bag a little back heavy, so I feel a little off balance. It really warmed up. It's up to like 50 degrees now. Ooh, it really feels like it. Sun is beating down, but I'm just enjoying these last couple miles to the car. Nice little hike along the river. Trail's nice and packed down still. River crossings are a lot easier without the snowshoes on. Back at the car now. Verdict on the socks. Boots definitely wet in the toe area. Socks very slightly damp on the outside. Feet feel mostly dry. Yeah, I think these are the best ones yet. I definitely walked through the water during one of those water crossings, and yeah, I didn't feel water soaking at all, so I would say these passed the test, at least initially. Still need to do the old bathtub test, but pretty happy with these. This one feels very slightly damp at the toes, but not that bad. So that was 6.4 miles today, plus the 3.1 yesterday, which brings the total to 9.5 miles for the trip. That was really fun. I'm really glad I did it as an overnight, because I think that would have been a bit much as a day hike, well, especially with how late I got started yesterday. But the trail was nice and packed down. It was definitely steep going up the North Peak. That was definitely the longest 0.7 of the whole trip. Between north and south was quite pleasant. South, little steep going down, but not bad with spikes. And the rest of it was pretty smooth sailing. So yeah, definitely a good one to do in the winter time. Nice, almost 360 degree views at the top of North Peak, so that was pretty incredible. I will see you on my next adventure. Happy trails!